Welcome back to Tran's Guide to Norland. Today we're going to be discussing the mire that is politics in the game. First off, my perception of victory is traveling to the west by vassalizing all of the provinces. You can't actually control other cities, conquer them, or anything like that. You can only control Sparksville. What you can do is turn them into your vassals. At the beginning of the game, you are Dust Valley's vassal in the demo when you pick Sparksville, which is the only city that you can pick, again, in this version of the demo. In the last episode, we had just freed the queen and then broke off our vassalage with Dust Valley. As long as you are a vassal, you cannot attack or demand vassalage of other people. You can't even attack villages. Now, although this is not the exact same playthrough, I did try to keep a consistent experience. The only thing different is that I have turned Dust Valley into my vassal so that we can see Silverhaven. There's nothing special about Silverhaven, this is just what you're used to seeing. In the game, you can only see what you or your subjects or your suzerain can see. That's why I said that you vassalize everybody as you make your trek westward. Everything has to emerge from your city, so if you pick a fight with, say, someone over here, you have to walk all this way. These are not grayed out because they don't exist. They are fully functional. They have kings, they send out lords, even the kings themselves, they have armies, they spawn random bandits. They're fully functional, you just don't see them at the beginning of the game because you don't own any of the territories. So as we spread out, this border will actually become their border. So this green one will be our blue and white. And while it looks like this blue and black and this blue and black, it's not the same. We will stop there as far as our borders are concerned. Now, before we go on to vassaling, or vassalage, I'm not sure if that's even a word, let's talk a little bit about friends and foes. I don't really like the idea of having friends in this game, because in order to, see at the bottom it says with relations of 50 or above, they will be willing to join me as they are a vassal. That's a problem because 50 means that they are basically loved by your king. And when their king inevitably dies, because the AI likes wandering around the map all the time. This is a king right here. Sure, he's walking with 10 units, but even a bandit camp has 8 units. This one has 11 units. He's actually attacking this bandit camp with 11 units. Bandits tend to be 5 strength. This king over here has no bodyguards. He's just wandering, I think, to the north, to this city. He's probably just visiting, and that's fine. That probably means that they're friends, but still, kings die a lot in this game, and if you are friends with an opposing king, rival king, when they inevitably die, you take a massive negative mood boost, as well as a permanent and negative characteristic, which could be something like nervous, sarcastic, baldy. Like, seriously, these are all things that can happen to you just because another king dies. And it's not something I would particularly recommend. What we're going to do for this one is, let's see here. We need a little bit of gold before we can increase our relationship by 10 points. So let's work on trying to get that. This family here, they kind of like us. That's actually a problem, because they don't like us enough to be friendly vassalage. But they like us too much for this to happen. So while I can demand they become my vassal, this is considered a treacherous act because we're in a good relationship, which is anything above 5. So they're in that negative, that bad spot for vassally, somewhere between 6 and 49. What we're gonna do is demand tribute, and this will drop us straight down to 5. Paper is basically your currency as far as this screen is concerned. Paper technology is actually very difficult to come by. In order to get the paper workshop, you need to have the workshop. In order to get the workshop, you need to have the mine. And then you need, although it's not listed as a requisite, you should get a coal furnace or just buy coal outright. You can also buy tools outright, though those are often not for sale. Anyways, you want to have lots of paper. Once you get the paper workshop up and running, you won't be short on paper in the slightest because you produce so much of it. So with this king, we're going to go ahead and say politics, offer vassalage, and we'll just send another messenger. And that's basically what we'll be doing for the bulk of our journey here. We'll do the same for Treewood. Politics, offer vassalage. Alright, so on the left, we want to get vassals as quick as possible so that we can make our journey westward, because this is where all the action's happening. We've actually encountered the Unholy Horde once before in a different playthrough, but the game kept crashing on me, And I think it's not because of the Unholy Horde, but I think it's because I micromanaged the city so much. It was like day 18 or something. And yeah, the game was just crashing consistently. So I don't think it had anything to do with the Unholy Horde. So I'm going to try to meet them much faster this time. On the east side, though, we can do whatever we want because there's only like 2 territories deep this way. No big deal if something takes a little while longer to finish. So we've already sent someone to Wind Peak. We need money for Silverhaven, so wait on that. Moonlake already does not like us. So what we could do is... Let me see, Vanna. She actually has a baby, so this is actually very beneficial for us. And they have 7 cutthroats. Oh, that's good. Check this out. Dark Deeds. Dark Deeds utilizes the cutthroats in the city based off of your persuasion. Let's say that I want to do Kidnap a Lord. All of these are similar in terms of percentage. Assassination is kill. Library robbery takes books. Now, you're used to seeing this icon on your heroes, not on the provinces, because you spend more time in your city. But in this map, this is number of books. If we were to take a look at Vanna, she has 0 knowledge. So the same icon is used to represent both. Anyways, back to Dark Deeds. We can steal books, or we can steal a little bit of money, not that much. We take a look at Ozma. She's going to get us 180 each, I guess. I don't know. So that's not really that good. And we spend 70. Now, the reason why I wanted to show Ozma is she doesn't have that great of persuasion. Even though that does not show the persuasion check here, they are ranked in order of persuasion. Ozma will only get 4 of these 7 cutthroats to work for her, giving me a 35% chance to succeed. Prince, on the other hand, will get 7 of them, give me a 70% chance to succeed. Now, the reason why messengers are so great is because if your king has high level persuasion, the messenger will have a high level persuasion. That may seem odd to you, but I don't think it's a bug in the slightest, because these guys are carrying your royal edict. I mean, I don't know if this is actually true, but I've seen manga or manhwa, I think that means Chinese comics, where like a guy will say, like, I've got the emperor's order here, and then everybody kneels down because that's as good as the emperor being there. So yeah, this is my imperial edict. We're going to actually do Imperial Edict these guys to try to kidnap this lord for a 70% chance. That sounds really good. Now, that's going to really piss him off, but it is going to weaken him. His army's all the way over here, though, so it's not that big of a deal to weaken him. Alright, so we've dealt with Moonlake, we dealt with Wind Peak, we need to wait on Silverhaven, Dust Valley we haven't done with, we dealt with Great Mist, and Treewood. We've done everything we need to. The only other thing we could do is start preparing an army and just walk around, but we'll leave that alone. Let's go and speed up the game, and I'll do a cut here. Odo has been challenged, and he will respond to me in his own time. This means that I can no longer attack him. Vanna has been abducted. So that spawns this cutthroat who, when he reaches our city, will give us Vanna, which works as a regular noble, except she cannot go to war for us. And I'll show you how to easily turn her into a normal noble if that's what you want. But I think leaving them as prisoners is probably better because they seem to work until mood 10 instead of 25. There's a negative 19 prisoner penalty anyway. Unfortunately, we didn't get the money from him, but that's okay. We have lowered that relationship, so now we can offer vassalage. I do have the money. We've challenged Derwin, so we're going to go ahead and politics, peace treaty, send a messenger. So Vanna has arrived. Let's wait a little bit for her to get into the city proper, because it takes 2 hours to get to your Great Hall from the edge of the map. The trader spawns at 1800, but only appears in front of your hall at 2000. Alright, so this is what you need to do. First, let's get the king, let's clear up his objectives, and you can click on anything to immediately make them go do it. But we're going to go and cancel all of that and send them over to Vanna. Give her some rings to reward her for her hard work being dragged here across the floor, because that's what happens when she appears in the map. She probably isn't able to move, so somebody runs over to her and drags her to your Great Hall. So we're going to give her some rings. So this will remove, if she had it, a malice of, I don't have any rings, minus 15 or something. She was awarded plus 30. Now we're going to threaten her. So we gave her the carrot. Now we're giving her the stick. This threaten, she's at negative 25 relationship or loyalty right now. She's now at 98.9. Our threaten is very powerful. We must actually be on nectar right now. Yeah, we're at 22 persuasion. That's because of this nectar bonus right there. So what threaten did is it raised loyalty by 124. It still wasn't quite enough to max, but that's okay. We're close enough to max. So now we'll release her. If her loyalty is higher than 0, she joins you. If not, she goes back to her kingdom. So now she's rising. Once she gets a home, she'll be better off. She's at 60 mood and 99 loyalty. That's pretty good. That's actually very good for most lords. We can immediately wed her off to a male noble as well to get rid of her. Alright, so all of these guys have become my vassal. This guy's offering tools, which is pretty good if you wanted to make a paper workshop. I have 1 paper left, so we'll send Ozma on this one. I clicked it. There we go. Actually, I'm not sure that's actually closer. That probably isn't, but that's okay. It doesn't matter that much. And we'll send... Oh, you are at 10 relationship, so... what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to reduce our relationship with you. So I guess we'll send Ursa. Remember, if it's 6 or above, everybody hates it. 5 is okay. Kulain is a bishop. He has joined our crew as a guest, a permanent guest, because our city has grown large enough to accommodate a bishop. I don't know what the quantity is for a bishop to join you, but I assume it's divisible by 10. So we have here 35, 36, 46, 54, 60, 70. We have 70 people right now. Now, I wouldn't recommend you normally do this, but I'm sure I've got 13 unemployed people, so this is actually okay. But I'm going to go find that cutthroat. It's right here, actually. It's a criminal, and then we're just going to immediately punish him. Apparently, he's been punished. Someone beat him up earlier. I would just go ahead and we'll execute him, because I don't know if I've ever done that. Normally, I just do Mask of Shame, and then he becomes a regular peasant. But we'll go and execute him. Normal speed, and you can of course execute your prisoners if you so chose to. Thumbs down, you don't get to live. Yay, kill him. I get an X, and there we go. I got combat XP. Well, that's probably like the most valuable part of that. Now that causes terror because he didn't commit a crime very recently. So people are not necessarily happy about that. That's a warrior. We need to find a peasant. Execution spectacle. What terror does is it keeps you from getting migration for 5 days. My people are starving right now, and it's kind of understandable. I'm down to just rutabagas. Currently, I'm subsisting on selling lumber for gold and using that gold to buy food. Once the trader has shown up, he spawns at 1800. Here's in front of the hall at 2000. The clan has entered a sacred peace treaty. This means I can now offer vassalage once the trader gets in front of my hall. rival king has appeared. Always be cautious of other kingdoms' peoples. Look at the mood of that king. So let's take a look at Shay. He's the let's see here, like the triad yellow. He's also from Dust Valley. They really hate me. So I would say that if I left them here, they would probably attempt to deliberately sabotage me by trying to seduce people, spread bad rumors. That is something I've seen other players not really realize. They just think that their pawns are being destructive, and yeah, they can be, but these guys are being intentionally destructive using any of those tactics I explained earlier, plus a few more that the AI get benefits to. So what we're going to do, and this is a totally valid political maneuver, we're going to exile him, or we could actually capture him. That actually works too. Oh, this guy's different. This guy's from the green one. That's Windpeak, so he actually likes me. So we could capture Shay. That would make other people dislike me, which actually would kind of help. You know what? Let's do that. So neighboring kings will deteriorate. Let's get Silverhaven on our side before that happens, and then we'll lower everybody's relationship with me. That would help with that. That would actually save me a paper. Okay. Or I could kill him outright. Not that one. One possible way you could kill somebody is if I... where are you, dude? Oh, that's why I don't see you. You're walking into the city. Vanna just joined us, and we're not actually too attached to her. We're going to have you social, wolf hunting, Vanna, who has a very high combat skill. She is going to give birth in 4 hours, though. She's probably going to give birth in the middle of the wolf fight. There's a possibility that either or both of them will die. Now let's go ahead and trade. So again, I'm showing you things that you can do with all these political opponents when they encroach on your territory like this. Got a bar fight right there. Where is... Queen is asleep. That's not going to work. Okay, let's sell some of this wood here. And then we'll buy... See, I need drinks more than anything else because I have 251 rutabagas. Just people don't like it. And we'll get rid of the slaves too. We'll get rid of 10 slaves. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't have enough money for that, so we'll subtract that. We're going to get rid of the other few. That'll free up some jobs, since the slaves are generally kind of doing those. And that gives me a little bit of money. Let's buy some of this paper. And that helps us out just a tad. Fauna, I thought I signed you to go get this guy killed. Is it because he hasn't reached us yet? King is passed out drunk. Shay is socializing. Child is born Ura. Don't expect this child to stay the same. I'm not really keeping this progress because I'm spending most of the time in the world map showing you how to do stuff. I'm trying to get this guy killed, or some. Generally, the AI does get killed when you do this, but I don't know. So now we can do a peace treaty with you. Friendly vassalage. Because this doesn't really happen often, it's not actually translated, so when you get to friendly vassalage, it's going to be another language. You are plus 10. We need to lower your relationship. Yeah, you see this message here? It's probably because Shay did something. Alright, so Teague became my vassal. Aiden became my vassal. A subject cannot be a suzerain of another province. While you can demand vassalage, thus threatening by force, you cannot friendly vassalize subjects. But you can do so to their lords. And it is only day 7. We got another territory. Eudon has decided to accept. Sigmar has accepted, breaking that vassalage up. These guys far out here have 12 people and 5 strength. We've reached the Horde finally, or at least they've reached us. I can't target them though until I actually can see them. We saw as the Unholy Horde smashed this place and the borders changed. All of Greenspire were killed. However, the pop-up appears, I think, just as a bug. He did not repel the invasion, he died. So now this is Unholy Horde territory. So you'd have to reach the Unholy Horde before the end of day 8. Then you could say the Greenspire, I suppose. Okay, at this point, I have loaded the game and replayed the several days, and we're actually at day 13. We finally reached Greenspire. It's actually still alive at this point, though most of the nobles had died in the first attack. Quite a few of them. And actually, I think I figured out why it says you failed and you succeeded. First, it says you failed because Greenspire dies. And then it says you succeeded because the army is no longer on the map. That's a glitch in the game in this version of demo. I'll be talking more about glitches during this whole politics section, as well as things that might be intentional but are definitely gimmicky. I mentioned earlier that you probably just want to exile guests that show up. So Odo kind of likes me, though he hasn't been too happy because when they approach me, I try to shoo the other guests around. Oh, by the way, it says Saintly plus 36. That's because my king has a crown, and that's why it's taken me so long to reach Greenspire, is that I can no longer do the hostile vassalage thing. I can only, well, I mean, I could, but that would result in the bishop hating me and then sending armies after me. If I wanted to say offer vassalage, remember that I'm above 5. If you're exactly at 5, it's actually okay, but if you're above 5, this is a treacherous act which will be disapproved by the Inquisition, essentially, which I am assuming is this castle here, which you can't interact with. Just get to destroy you. Remember that in this game, they're so fearsome that you're not even allowed to touch their merchants, right? That's the backstory of this. So pissing off the bishop is probably not in the best interest of a healthy economy unless you learn the game, the system. Okay, so that's why my king has this giant crown and people love him. Well, anyways, despite that, Odo has all these grudges against me, so he's decided to send Runa to me. The reason why Runa has been a problem is she's actually been going around and making my people hate each other and her. You can see that we've got some negatives here. She's actually making even the princess here pissed at her. You take a look. And the princess is really happy with most people. Take a look at Runa, enemy of my loved one, Ozma. Okay, so because she's becoming hostile, that's actually making other people unhappy with her as well. So take a look at Ozma, who was the enemy section. Got mocked and insulted. Ursa's the one next to her right now. I tried to get her killed by using a wolf. Flesh wolf guy. This is actually the third flesh wolf Runa is on in the same day. So we can see here that Runa is has insulted Ursa several times. Even Uncle, that's the guy who you start the game with. Take a look. Runa, minus 28, insulted partner. So she's actually deliberately committing bad actions against us. You may think like, oh, Tran, that's just in your imagination. These guys typically just do bad things. All right. Here, let me show you. Ozma is over here, and she's actually selected walking in company. What this is telling us is she's actually heading over to a certain NPC. What is Runa doing? Waiting for someone. Maybe Ozma's not heading to Runa, you say. You tell me where else you think Ozma is heading to. There's nothing up there except Ursa and Runa. She's trying to pathfind her way there. All right, so why do I give her a new command? Can I maybe tell her to go do some book study? By left-clicking this, you prioritize this in your pawn's queue, essentially. So I'm gonna left-click it. Oh, did you see that? It flickered and it went back to walking in company. She has to fulfill the guest's request, which is pretty much she's gonna run over to Runa all the way over here, and then just get insulted. That's what's gonna happen. So let's try again. Maybe try inspecting the warehouse. No, not waiting for someone. Going to study knowledge. Okay, see, the study knowledge was quickly removed by waiting for someone. Which I wonder if she's moving towards me. No, she's just heading to Runa. This is just synonymous with the heading on over. So yeah, she's going to waste your whole team's time. Wherever she is, she's going to make them run. So if, for example, I've got a small outpost over here, Cormac was trying to inspect this, and suddenly Runa decides to summon him over so she can insult Cormac. Am I joking about that? Not really. But yeah, this definitely does happen. And the best way to do it is just either capture or exile. If you capture them, you get free heavy armor. You get to keep all this stuff that they're carrying with them. And they normally carry something like 25 rings. So that's not bad. Exile is the softest touch if you really don't want to wreck your relationship. But really, capture is not that big of a relationship hit to that one kingdom. But it will make other neighboring kings super dislike you, which it would be okay with me because it makes me vassalize other properties faster. So this would actually be a winning proposition for me. As for the nobles themselves, if you get too many nobles, you start really not being able to control these noblemen. So for example, I can't disallow or allow anything from Cormac right now. So that's why I've actually been trying to keep my troops trim enough that I can kind of click on some stuff. Otherwise, I would just be filling up on nobles. Because to run a town of, say, 160 people, because I have 110 peasants, 40 warriors, 40 slaves. I mean, that's a lot of people, right? And to feed them, I would need probably at least 10 mills. Just throwing a number out there. Maybe not that many, but say 10 level 1 mills, right? And you're so spread out. Like, I've tried to compact these pretty much. Right now, there's this gap. That's because I'm moving things around. This used to be stuff like a marketplace, and I moved up there so I could move these houses, which were temporary, over here. Again, yes, there are some gaps, but realistically, it's not like I'm deliberately trying to build across the world here. So there's great inefficiencies, but that results in is like having your people run all over the place trying to accomplish things. So Uncle has 5 properties once I put this farm back on him. I try to minimize king and queen so they can pay attention to their daughter, make sure that she gets the best treatment possible. Ozma is basically my handyman as well as Kynan, because they don't have... Ozma typically does a little bit better with books, and Kynan, I just send him out in the world. But I do try to keep my noble selection down only because the dynasty window is so limited. But you can see here that people have generally 4 to 6 things. And if I just had more noblemen, I could really easily just streamline that even further. The reason I wanted king and queen to be able to dote on their daughter, which, by the way, this is her house. I deliberately put it right here, and the king is right here, and the queen is right here. So anyways, the daughter, who they dote on, check out her stats. I'll be showing you screenshots of the future queen of Norland's growth. Your character's age up at 8, though the first screenshot still says 0 years old. It should really say 1. And I've been putting together some information to think about making a video on teaching it. Efficient strategies for it. Though I don't know if I have enough to make a 40-minute video on it. She's basically maxed out. She has reached the stats superior to the people in this colony, and she's only 8 years old. She's going to start using the rest of the years until she becomes an adult, just reading books. But other than that, she doesn't really have much to do. She's not allowed to do anything. But look at that persuasion score. And that is, by the way, not nectared. So that is her straight up stat, 28 persuasion. I shudder to think what that could do in a game that extended past 20 days. So yeah, she's pretty beastly. As her combat and command score are much greater than any adult that we have in our team. One of the ways I had done that, by the way, and it still goes into politics, is I would look around the map for noble people. And I'd say, let's see here. Burkhart, he's 15 years old. We could kidnap him. He's got a 16 persuasion score. Do I need a 16 persuasion score? Nah. Princess, the main thing she had needed was more combat skill. So I did go around looking for combat skill, and I eventually found one. And you can do any of those things that I had mentioned earlier. You can Dark Deed, kidnap a lord. You can send a guest and just... I'm sorry, not send a guest. Lord. Pick someone and then ask them to join you in your colony temporarily, just as a guest. A friendly guest in this case. Not like Runa. And they'll hang around for a couple days, assuming that you give them a house and feed them. And you can use them to train your people. You will have to pay them something like 3 rings per training session. There is that. But you don't really do anything else with rings. And if you're kidnapping enough people, you get a lot of rings. So yeah, there's lots of ways. You could even bribe them and then get them to join you, which is something that I've actually done a little bit in this playthrough. Like over here, they used to have, I think they used to have a combat trainer. Well, I called it a combat trainer. So I bribed her, recruited her, trained Princess, and then wed her off to, I think it was Misthaven in this playthrough. She's not in there right now, but like I got 800 gold with that. I got skill points with that, and I managed to piss off this empire so that I can vassalize them. So yeah, that's actually a pretty good deal for me. We can see that he's not really that happy that I'm a kidnapper. Minus 18, poaches my lord. Minus 11, my sanctity of hospitality. Minus 9. That should pretty much cover it for politics. So what we're gonna do to just end things off is, as soon as I can, I'm gonna send people to avenge Greenspire. They're not dead yet, but she literally has no army there besides her. I think this means that this is her, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Maybe that is just one soldier. Actually, we can see by clicking on her right now. She's missing. Okay, so Bala showed up. She's got combat 10, so she's actually got one warrior. And if they were attacked, Vina and Rala would defend it. I'm not sure Rala would, because she's not actually technically part of that castle. But they are going to be attacked by the Jason figures. I call it Jason because got the hockey mask looking thing. I'm sure it's supposed to be a skull. It's hard to take it seriously when you're just thinking of Jason. But maybe I'm the only one who doesn't take that seriously. But I couldn't really do much with them to offer them aid. That's what you do with this quest, is you send money to them, like say 2,000 gold. But I can't even do that because they have flesh wolves right outside, so I can't send individual messengers or anything. This one's only going because I sent that way before that all happened, because this is such a far walk from Sparksville. This will be my second take at this, because in the first take my army just could not assemble themselves and kept falling asleep. The Unholy Horde just wiped out Vina. I didn't even see the army walk up. Normally you get to watch them walk up, but they just sort of vaporized right there. So now we'll go ahead and start by trying to attack them. Now here's how I've kind of analyzed them. I looked at how much their army value was worth and assigned kind of a numeric value to the equipment. 46 for spear and 41 for mace, something like that, and that's based off of what I perceive as the 0% value of you selling those items. So I have a kind of an idea of how well equipped they are, and they're not super well equipped, but they are more numerous than my guys. That being said, don't be fooled by this. That's just 5. When they were on the map, it was like 19. I don't know why it's 5 right now. Perhaps because it was just she didn't have even a chance for them to march. She just immediately died. I don't know. But when they are on the road, it was like 19 combat skill with 47 people. Anyways, let's go ahead and try to attack this guy. Alright, and we'll just sort of let them try to assemble and leave the town. I don't know if they will successfully leave the town this time, but I'll just either replay this segment or wait until it happens. Now while that time lapses, let's take a look at their status. We can see that this character is fearless. This character knows no fear and will not flee from battle. As far as stats go, he has 19 in combat stats. Strong will works when unhappy. I don't know if that's normal for a Unholy Horde person. Probably not. Homely reduces interest. I don't think he's gonna have to worry about that. Sublimination is something that you get if you don't fulfill a certain need of your nobles for a long time. And Commander, I've never actually seen the tooltip for. Like, I'm hovering over it now, and there's no tooltip. Also, while we're doing that, why don't we go ahead and use the heat-seeking missile just as retribution against Odo, since he's sent Runa to come bother us. Let's take a look at real quick. Ozma, has she gotten around to poisoning yet? No, not yet. It's fine, whatever. Yep, getting all the lag bubbles. Okay. Thank you, I understand. Come on, click. So you remember how I told you before that it's a heat-seeking missile, and it just kills your guys outright. So let's try this. He's got 8 combat skill. I've already clicked him, by the way. Duel Provocation. And we'll just pick, I don't know, Burnuf. Burnuf has 11 combat skill. They both have the same equipment. Let's try. Odo has been killed. Success. Oh, Burnuf survived? Wow. Normally he dies. In fact, in the first take I did, the person I sent did die. They just died together. It also Burnuf failed to complete the task, but that's because Odo died. So there was no wandering off. There's no traveling on the world map. It's just immediate heat-seeking missile. I could continue to send burn-off against this entire empire right here. But this person still likes me. She didn't really seem to care so much that her predecessor was killed. In fact, why don't we just do that to everybody? Like this guy, EO4, he doesn't seem to like me much. Okay. Lords. EO4. Duel Provocation. Go, Burnoff, go. Your lord has been killed. But we can see that he has been killed too. So it's a win-win because we can easily get lords. You've seen that. We can get so many lords throughout the entire game. Anybody else have a problem with me? Let me look around. I think you guys are all okay with me. That's fine. Oh, you can't do that with this guy. It doesn't because you only get the attack. Uncle, you actually made it to the world map. Runa used medicinal salve, but she still passed away. That's from the poison. There's nothing to watch as a result of that. There's not even like puking because they immediately used the medicinal salve, but I guess it didn't save her. But my equipment is 21,000. It's good. I think the enemy equipment was like 12,000 for their whole army, so this is almost double, but my combat skill is probably about 3 times less than theirs. 2 days later, we have finally reached the destination. Let's begin this fight. Though I am curious why they suddenly dropped 10 points in combat stat. Can I select an individual? Yeah, he's got 5 combat stat. I don't know why, but alright. Let's go to speed level 2. Game's lagging quite a bit. We'll back up so that we bunch up more. Then we'll charge in, though I don't think it really matters. I think the game kind of does kind of a turn-based combat. Also, one of the dudes chose not to wear any armor. I don't know what that's about, but okay. Maybe I didn't count right, but I thought I equipped everybody. Under normal circumstances, I would just triple speed this and ignore what really happens, but this is the final part of our composed video here, reaching the Unholy Horde. I figure we'll end it with a battle. Might supported by wit. Wit reinforced with might. Because I calculated their equipment, I assumed that they wouldn't have armor, and I was correct. They only have axes. Which is why I brought swords instead of axes. Swords offer a defensive advantage, and axes break armor. Ooh, that dude in the center just had his head cut off. Ridiculous part is they won't pick up the weapons of anybody who's dead on the field, but okay. Oh, Uncle's shield just went down. Someone help Uncle out. Okay, we got Idol. We defeated their commander. That means that they lose their morale bonuses, I would assume. Yeah, he's got 6 morale. And then he's dead. We lost 20 people in that exchange. But we defeated the Unholy Horde. We repel the region from the Unholy Horde. Our example inspires all kingdoms. And then we have to march all the way back. As a result of tragic events, the noble family of this city has vanished. The city has burned down, and the peasants have scattered in nearby villages. However, the location of this place remains advantageous, and the city can be resettled and rebuilt anew. In this case, the vacant title of the province of king implies the emergence of a new noble family. I don't think there's anything we can do, is it? Settle the ruins? Hold on, really? Oh, I need... Hold on. So this, like I said, this part is new to me. Alright, so we need a lord, and we got plenty of lords here. Accompanying him will be none. I mean, what if I assigned, like, is this how this... Oh, what? Would it be his spouse? Or soldiers? Let's try. Let's just randomly make a soldier. I assume he would not show up. Yeah, he cannot be assigned to an individual mission, so we go ahead and disband that squad. It's going to be another long wait to send someone in. Okay. So we'll send Cormac in to settle those ruins, and I guess we'll wait until that happens. You head on out there, dude. Alright, I was doing some quick emergency patchwork on my colony so that I could survive long enough to see what happens when Cormac settles this abandoned city. So you can always make abandoned cities out of killing off any other noblemen. Noble family. But it looks like the Unholy army has just walked right past, and they are planning to attack Frostkeep, which I guess is adjacent to this this province here, but okay. It technically is adjacent if you don't really count the impassable mountains. I think that might literally be one of the names of the mountain ranges on the loading screen. So we can see here that the combat skill is 17, and the equipment is only 2,000. Unfortunately, I was not able to see if my army could handle that, because they have 3 times my combat skill. But I have like 10 times their equipment value. We'll check back in once we settle the abandoned city. Too bad I can't order my army that's in the field to turn around and do anything. I understand why they didn't implement that, but it still feels wonderfully lacking. Such as I couldn't even order them to do anything near what is now the abandoned city until it was taken over. I couldn't say, like, send an army there and if somebody shows up, kill them. Have to wait until you immediately get word that it instantly becomes an abandoned city. Then you can instantly order your army to march over there. They are taking a very long way around to Frostkeep, and Cormac has almost reached the abandoned city, so let's see what happens. In Greenspire, a settlement for a new noble house has been founded. It originates from the House of Sparksville and now serves as its vassal. This undoubtedly marks the beginning of a glorious journey. Still has the cross swords from when the Unholy army just sort of instantly vaporized the original Greenspire. We did originally kidnap him, that's true, but we don't have an immediate, like, super relationship bonus. Other than my senior, but that doesn't have anything to do with him being my vassal or having given him that whole territory. There should definitely be a bonus for that, but in the words of the developer, they never really expect anybody to get this far. Any new orders we can do? I'm not... Doesn't really look like it, and here's Arla, which was a guest previously. I'm not sure what her relationship to Cormac is. I guess she just randomly joined the house. It starts out with 1,000 gold and 20 people. That's more people than you start with, but it is less gold than you start with. I think I would rather have the 4,000 gold, because you can get so much done with that. Wealth is power. So yeah, that is my new vassal. Oh, and I can actually see the Unholy Horde here. Oh no, there's no way I can reach them. I'm going to have to restart either a whole new playthrough and pick it up from there, or load the save before our king became canonized and vassalize quicker to reach that area of interest. Chances are it is nothing, but there's no reason to do that if you have no interest in seeing that video. But if that does catch your interest, please go ahead and take 2 seconds to leave a like. Thank you very much for watching Tran's Guide to Norland. I'll see you next time.